What is up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down all the income streams that my wife and I have as two emergency registered nurses living here in Queensland, Australia. I'm going to be going into all of the ones we already have set up, and I'll also be breaking down what we're going to be working towards in the future. My wife and I are both nurses, and for a couple of years now, we have been toying with the idea of having multiple income streams behind us. Although we do enjoy our jobs, we've realized that full-time nursing is not something that's very sustainable, as there's a lot of turnover in our job. It is for this reason that in all of my monthly updates, updating you guys on my net worth, I've always said that I'm working towards building a life for my wife and I where we can go part-time or possibly be work optional by the age of 40 years old. And what is a big part of carrying out this plan and achieving this goal? Income. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Let's start with our foundation, and that's our nursing income. Both my wife and I work as emergency nurses here in Queensland primarily. That is our primary place of work. However, over the last couple of months, we've pulled back, tapered back a little bit here and there, just because it can become a lot for someone to work in emergency full time. So we've picked up little jobs elsewhere just to supplement our income, and so we can have a little bit of change of scenery. But with this in mind, our salaries are still pretty similar. At our current pay rate, we are getting about $100,000 to $105,000 a year. For video purposes, I'm just gonna say flat $100,000 a year we're both getting. And remember, this is before tax. The amount you can earn as a nurse can vary greatly depending on how many shifts you wanna work and how much overtime you wanna do and what weekends and public holidays you're willing to sacrifice to get those penalty rates. And while the stability is nice, it does come with its challenges. As shift workers, we can earn penalty rates, and that can really bump up your paycheck from fortnight to fortnight. But the flip side is that it's quite tiring. You've got an ever-changing schedule. You can never have the same routine day to day. You've got constantly rotating shifts. You often have to sacrifice your weekends and some social outings. And you also have to deal with the stress of your sleep schedule changing from day to day. Although our degrees do afford us a quite comfortable living, nursing is not something that my wife and I want to be forced to do full time for the rest of our working lives. And also, even though nursing feels like a stable career, we've all seen the pressures that are on the public health system at the moment, and we've seen budget cuts as of late. And short staffing is not something that is unfamiliar to a nurse. And that's why I've never wanted us to depend solely on our paychecks. The money that we earn from our nursing is a solid base, but it's something that we view as a bit of a launching pad for different opportunities. One of the first income streams that we built outside of our job was house hacking, or we got a roommate. We have a spare room in our house that we were originally keeping just for when friends come over or when people were visiting from out of town. But the reality is that only happened like once every couple of months. And even though we do have a roommate, when people come visit us from out of town, we can set up a pretty comfortable blow-up camping mattress in the media room. So we're not really at a loss. So for the last 4 years, we've had a few different roommates living with us, and we've charged them all the same rate. We've charged them $250 a week, and that includes all the utilities that they would use. That adds up quite quickly. And when we are in a transition phase from roommate to roommate, we can definitely feel the difference and the extra constraints we have in our spending account. But yeah, $250 a week, that adds up to 13 grand a year. So it's definitely nothing to scoff at. It's kind of like having a part-time job, but like not working the hours. And we're about halfway through the 4th year of us doing this. And since we started doing it, we've brought in just around 40 grand. And that's really not for doing much. All we did was just make our spare room look nice, furnished it, took a few photos, and we put it up on this website called Flatmates. We're not sponsored or anything, but that's the site we've used and we've got a lot of success on. This money we've tried to be very responsible with. The money goes straight to our mortgage, and over the years it would probably save us like tens of thousands of dollars in interest on our mortgage. It has also been super useful and helped buffer up our emergency fund that we keep in our offset account. And we've been able to do this without feeling like we're scraping and eating 2-minute noodles every meal just to bolster it. This just gives us a lot of breathing room and peace of mind, especially when like those unexpected expenses come up. And what I love most about this income stream is that it's just super simple. We didn't really need a massive investment or like a risky business plan. We just used what we already had, which was a spare room that wasn't being used, and we turned it into consistent cash flow week to week. We set it up once, we took pictures once, and from that initial 1 day of work, which was only really a couple of hours, we've been able to land multiple roommates over the last couple of years. And it's just bringing in consistent, easy money. So that's awesome. One day when we need to use this spare room as a nursery, which might be coming up, we're not sure, this cash flow will stop. Our baby can't pay us rent. So we're just taking advantage of it while we can. And the earlier we get this money into our offset and saving us interest, or we get into our investment account and it compounding over time, the more money we make. On top of that, we're slowly building an investment portfolio. I've already made a few shorts kind of breaking down my investment portfolio, but I haven't done it in a long form video yet. So here we go. Right now, all the money in my shares portfolio is in ETFs, and I'm building what they call a barbell portfolio. On Stake, it's split up into two sections. They have a Australian side with all the Australian ETFs that are available to you, and that's all currency hedged. And then we've got the Wall Street side, they call it, which is obviously the US, and that's got all your classic S&P 500, but all of the other ETFs that are available on Wall Street. So both sides are very, very focused to do their own thing. And that was my intention. On my US side, I'm really, really going for diversified growth. So I've got money in VOO, QQM, and VEU. So I'm looking for broad market exposure, but some real fast tech-driven capital appreciation. And I'm also looking for a little bit of global diversification with the add-in of VEU. And the mindset with this is a long runway, so long-term mindset. It's money that I'm putting away and not touching for a very long time. Now my Australian side is completely different. I'm not going to be going for capital growth. I'm going for a tax-efficient income. So I'm targeting high yield, fully franked ETFs. And I've chosen two ETFs to begin with, and that's VHY and IHD. Over time, I'm looking to build this as an income stream, and I'm hoping for it to be strong passive income that's also tax advantaged via the franking credits that are available to us here in Australia. My philosophy behind this is let's just let the US/global side handle all of my growth. Let Australia pay me high yields and tax-effective income. This side of my Australian portfolio is very still much in its early days. I haven't even got any money in IHD yet. I've only got some money in VHY, but I plan to build up this side of my portfolio very, very quickly, just so I can start seeing those dividends roll in and I can reinvest them and grow them even more. I've got 7 shares in VHY at the moment. This is Vanguard's passively managed fund that seeks to track the return of the FTSE Australian High Dividend Yield Index. And as you can see up on screen, it has maintained an 8.34% dividend yield over the last 12 months. And an important point is also that it's fully franked, meaning that all portions of this fund is tax advantaged. The next ETF that I'm looking to add to this side of my barbell is IHD. This is a fund that is also fully franked, and it specifically targets the top 50 dividend players on the ASX. So it's really, really heavy into the banks, financials, and resources like mining and stuff like that. There is a little bit of overlap in these two ETFs, which means I wouldn't class myself as very diversified on my Australian side. But luckily I've got the Wall Street or the US side that kind of evens me out in that respect. This side of my barbell isn't giving me a huge income yet. I've gotten 1 dividend payout so far, but it's just about planting the seed so I can watch that tree grow. Over time, these dividends are going to grow into something that is actually a respectable income stream, and therefore increasing our cash flow and giving us more opportunity to invest in different things in the future. The next income stream that I want to build and leverage is I want to get into a new property. If you've been watching my monthly net worth updates, you would know that we've got a very decent amount of equity in our current place of residence. So we are looking to use this equity to get our hands on another investment property, hopefully in the future. An investment property that brings in a good rental yield while also growing value over the years is the goal. And it's something that we have our eye on currently, just looking out for a good opportunity. We're not thinking about pulling the trigger quite yet because Sophie's HEX debt is quite low at the moment. And having 2 HEX debts on our financial profile at the moment is something that's quite heavily affecting our borrowing capacity. So we're looking to get rid of Sophie's HEX debt in the new year as it's so low. And we want to do that before May. I believe, I still haven't looked it up, but May is when it's supposed to index again. So we don't want that to happen. My HEX debt's a little bit too big to get rid of at the moment. It would just knock out a little bit too much of our emergency fund that we're comfortable with. So we're just focusing on Sophie's, get rid of it, and then we'll start looking for an investment opportunity with our more inflated borrowing capacity. We're looking to do that early in the new year. So if you haven't already, subscribe down the bottom so I can take you guys along with the journey. The point here is that investments do take a lot of time. You don't always see results overnight and you can't just pull the trigger whenever you like. I will admit that I've felt quite itchy ever since we got into this house and we saw it grow so much. But looking back now, if we'd pulled the trigger too early, it would have crippled our cash flow and we would have been miserable trying to make sure we make 2 repayments and what if we couldn't find a tenant? But now we're in a much more stable financial position to where we can do that. And if a few things did go wrong, it wouldn't hurt so much. So property market 2026, look out. Now, the next stream of income that I'm working on myself is this YouTube channel. Right now, I'm not monetized yet, but the long-term plan for YouTube is for it to become another income stream. Hopefully something that will allow me to do a few less shifts as a nurse. Someone I've been following for a while and someone I've taken a bit of inspiration from is Ali Abdal. He's a big YouTuber who actually started out as a doctor. He grew his YouTube channel while being a doctor and slowly tapered down his shifts as a doctor as his YouTube income grew. So that would be the dream, for YouTube to become more of an income stream than my nursing career would be. Now, why YouTube? YouTube is scalable. With nursing, my income is tied to my hourly rate, how many hours I can actually give out, and I can be on the floor. If I don't show up, I don't get paid. But with YouTube, once the video is once a video is filmed, edited, and uploaded, it can be generating views 24/7 for as long as it's on the internet for. I'm not expecting it to replace my nursing income anytime soon, but if I can get it to a point where it even just covers one small bill a month, that's a huge win for me. Of course, down the line, I would love for it to grow into something even bigger, like some partnerships or some sponsor deals, a digital product, I don't know, something like that. The good thing about it is that there's heaps of options, heaps of avenues to go down, and heaps of different industries to explore. So I'm finding it quite fun and quite interesting. But for now, my focus is just sharing my journey, sharing our financial growth, and building a community. And that's really why I'm building more income streams. It's because as nurses, there's a limit to how much we can push ourselves to work overtime, to work extra shifts. I've seen too many of my colleagues just burn out and therefore burn bridges, leave nursing altogether, or even worse, from all the night shifts, develop some health issue that hinders their physical ability to work, and therefore they lose all their income. And ultimately, money is not about the numbers or how big you can get your bank account to look. It's about the freedom and knowing that you don't have to stress over every bill. So later in life, I can spend more time with my family, more time with my wife, more time with my future kids, more time with my dog. So that's how we are building multiple income streams as nurses here in Australia. I'd love to know what kind of income streams you guys are working on. Drop it in the comments below. I read all of my comments at the moment because there's so few. I really think we could all learn from each other's journeys and each other's ideas. And if you want to follow along for more, as I share a monthly net worth update, I share my investment strategies, I share what I learn in the financial world, make sure you hit subscribe so you can build some wealth with me and get one step closer to financial freedom. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, you should click here. No, because YouTube thinks you'll like this video. You should click it. No, but seriously. Come on, why haven't you clicked it yet?